I grew up such a fan of sports memorabilia and sports cards, and I'm really excited that this show is both going to highlight that as well as the awesome entrepreneurs that make it all possible. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into a brand new season of Talking Shop, and I could not think of a better way to start this one off than with my friend Eric Pokemonster 89. My friend, how are you?
I'm doing great, Buster. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. The first thing we obviously have to address is this man office of yours. You know, you've got jerseys, you've got cards lying around. How are you able to focus on work when there's so much fun?
My way of putting it is I'm on the phone a lot here at work. I get to look at these things to forget about certain things and zone off for about a split second. And it just reminds me of meeting Jamal, my Derek Jeter there. It makes things better sometimes when you're at work.
I love it. I love it. So I know you grew up in New York, which probably also explains the jersey. Talk to me about, growing up in New York and Clyde and the significance of that and why you chose that jersey today.
Well, first off, I saw you had the legend himself for an interview recently, and I watched some of it, and I really enjoyed it because my family, they grew up in the 70s and in the 80s, all Knicks fans. Had season tickets in the 90s. I saw Jordan lose a playoff game at the Garden once. I went to a lot of games in the 90s, and my family just gushed about Clyde. So when I was about 13 years old, I couldn't get my favorite number on the basketball team. So my second favorite number was going to be number 10. And I picked 10 because of Clyde. I got this jersey like 15 years ago, and I was like, well, I'm going to bust it out today. It's either this or Willis Reed for me. And I picked Clyde today because he's just a legend.
I love that. So how, from this sports background, obviously it's in your name, Eric Pokemonster 89. From growing up as a sports fan, was Pikachu playing at the Garden? How did you discover Pokemon? Where did that, what's the origin story there?
Well, yeah, I was a sports kid, played basketball as a kid. And the key was my friends had Pokemon cards. They had their Game Boys, and you just, monkey see, monkey do. You follow what your friends do to a certain degree. And so I had to get some Pokemon cards. I asked my dad if I could get some change out of his car to get ice cream, and I cleaned out his change drawer to go buy Pokemon First Edition cards. I didn't know what I was buying. I bought like $10 worth of cards in quarters. And when my dad went into the change, because back then they didn't have Easy Pass, you had to pay the tolls. He didn't have any money for the tolls. He was really mad. He came home, he confronted me. He's like, did you buy ice cream? I was like, no, I bought cards. Took me to the store, made me return the cards for like a store voucher, which we ended up buying more cards with anyway. But anyway, Pokemon League started on Saturdays. We went to Pokemon League. He started buying me packs. I opened Shadowless Venusaur, Shadowless Clefairy. I still have those cards. And then I went to basketball after. So I was Pokemon and basketball nonstop at the age of 9 and 10.
Wow. And remind me, how much was a Pokemon First Edition pack when you were going to that store?
Oh, they were like $4, $5. I know people that were paying $10 for First Edition blisters in '99 because there was a limited supply. But let me just say, man, in '99 and 2000, like when Fossil came out, every Toys R Us had a 10-pack limit. So the lady would be yelling at my dad because I'd have 10 packs and he'd have 10 packs, and they're like, no kid can buy packs. And he's like, here's your credit card,
So how did your dad turn around and, start supporting it and doing it with you?
Well, the key was I wasn't really good in school. I wasn't a student. I had hearing loss and I just didn't pay attention, and I didn't get, anything extra to help me outside of sitting in the front of the room. I'd zone out really easily. And it was a way for me to play a constructive game similar to chess. The Pokemon game is a game of strategy. And here I am sitting down playing a game of strategy. So my parents were hook, line, and sinker because all the other kids at school were there too. And their parents were into it because, hey, you're doing something that is constructive. And I started reading books on it. I became the best Pokemon battler at my league. Like I have badges. I should have brought my hat and badges. The crazy thing is it evolved. And then when the cards flatlined, I just kept my cards put away to the side. I left them in the bedroom. I'd show them to friends during college and stuff. And then in 2017, I was like, wow, these are starting to get expensive. Let me grade them. And then it was like, okay, it's time to start buying more.
That's amazing. So you realize that in 2017, what was the price of, let's say, a PSA 10 Charizard first edition in 2017?
35,000, 40,000 max.
So 40,000 max. That has like almost 10x now. I mean, we're going up on that.
You know, Logic paid 226 or so. I assume that even though there's 120 of them out there, it's a $300,000 card. If it's really clean, it's all about being able to get one now. Remember, in 2017, $40,000 for a Charizard was a lot of money. 50,000 for a first edition box was a lot of money. There wasn't as much attention. And in 2018, at the beginning of the year, the prices sort of plateaued all the way till about 2020 on certain cards. People were paying $5,000 to $10,000 for a Blastoise in 2017 for a Gem Mint first edition. That card did not jump until this year. So anybody who sold early this year really is kicking themselves because they probably sat for a long time on items and they missed out. And guys like you really scored big.
Man, it's really, really crazy. And you know, I think that's just a testament to, you know, if you have anything and you don't absolutely need the money and you love it, just sit on it for as long as possible, until you're exactly. For the, yeah, that's a PSA 9 first edition Charizard.
Yes, sir.
Insane.
You got to hear this. So I'm a car junkie also. I'm a guy, man. I'm into all different stuff. I had a BMW M3 Lime Rock Edition, one of 200 from 2013. Put 4,700 miles on it from the end of 2012 until now. In July, I sold it privately for a good amount of money because I panic sold it in terms of I could have had $3,000 less for the car a year earlier and bought all these Pokemon, but I was hesitant because I really loved the car. Well, I panic sold it right at the end of June, beginning of July. I bought that Charizard for $14,000. I bought other cards. Like I dumped about $35,000 into Pokemon after selling the car. And I have to tell you that every single investment is either doubled or tripled.
If not more.
I'm trying to, you know, just
I'm
downplay it a
real.
little bit.
We got to be real to the people. They've not doubled and tripled. I know that for a fact. They have like 7 to 10x.
They just go nuts. These Pokemon cards, let me just tell you this. I did not think in 2016 or early 2017 I was going to get heavily back into it. It went like this. I had $12,000 in investment from childhood. I had them graded, and I knew I had $12,000 in 2017 in value. That's about $60,000 now for my childhood collection. Now, I took that $12,000 mentality, and I went, I need to invest in something. First, it was Hasbro unopened wrestling figures, which are whatever. They're good. I love them. I love them more than almost anything.
You must love Jeremy Padower.
Me and Jeremy get together and talk because we love wrestling, we love Pokemon, and it's all guy stuff. It's fun and it's nostalgia. Yeah. And with the cards, so I knew I had $12,000 in investment. I started with $10 purchases. I bought a PSA 9 Yellow Cheeks Pikachu for $35, first edition for $35. I bought 2 of them. I was buying Shadowless PSA 9 Charizard. I bought this card for $13.20 almost 2 years ago for a Shadowless PSA 9. Like that's a $10,000, $15,000 card now, depending on how clean it is. The whole key was when you know something isn't very, you know, expensive relative to what it's going to become, you try to get in as much as possible. I'm scared of the stock market. I'm scared of other things. I want to hold what I invest in. I have tons of memorabilia. It just hasn't gone up the way I wanted it to. And the way Pokemon worked was I knew if I loved it, other people love it. And after $105 billion in revenues, Pokemon is a dead giveaway to be a huge winner long-term and short-term.
Well, now, why do you think it's going to get bigger than it is now? Because that's the most interesting point of conversation. Because obviously it's blown up this year. People who got in at the beginning of the year before and held, they did amazing. People who are getting in now, are they going to do just as good?
You have to be patient. If you're looking for a quick win and you started investing after August, it's going to be very difficult. I think what happened in September and October with, you know, the Logan Paul box purchase and the other celebrities buying record price items, it became more a fact of, I just want to own this. I don't know what I'm owning, but I want to own it. The key is you have to understand record prices and then going far beyond. This happened in 2018. It happened before. This is the same exact thing. It's a bigger scope this time. The way I put it is just be patient. If you have high quality cards, be patient. find something else to sell, I got a side job writing Pokemon for 1:37 p.m., just because I want to be in more on the content and I want to create more information for people out there to know not to get ripped off. And the whole thing is right now, let's give it 2 weeks. Let's see what happens with Thanksgiving. Let's see what happens towards Christmas. People are going to be wanting to open boxes for Christmas. I think Christmas is going to be a big Pokemon event. I think a lot of celebrities are going to open boxes just because they can. Imagine being able to do something nobody else can. If I want to open a first edition Pokemon pack on Christmas, I can do it because I bought them for cheap. I'm not going to do it because it is that'll pay my mortgage for like 5 months, man. I'm not opening that pack and playing the lottery like that. And I just say, be patient. If you invested heavily right now and you're down, sell a couple pieces if you need the money, but try to hold because you're not going to lose in the next 6 months.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Talk to me. What are your favorite topics to cover for 1:37 p.m.? How's it been working with them?
It's been wonderful. It turns out one of my closest friends outside of everything ended up getting a job there, and we get to do content together. And there's nothing better than working with your friends. Since I started writing for them, I got to know you. I got to know Jeremy Padower. I got to know some other really fantastic people like Juggling Josh. And I've helped all of you guys make purchases. And I mean, I know your purchases are phenomenal because you bought at the right time.
Because you told me.
Well, no. You bought a PSA 9 E3 Red Cheek Pikachu under $1,000 because there were 3 on eBay. And what happened? The other 2 got snatched immediately. And now I don't even have one. But you do, and I'm happy for you because you only helped me. By investing, you're helping push my collection as well. And I'm happy that you love it. You're the Pikachu king, man. You love this, and that's important. If you like it, you won't just dump it like a stock. You're going to want to hold on to it for some time.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that, man. And it's so funny when I remember it, in the DMs when we were talking about that one, I was like, and then you were like, buy them all. And I was like, I'm just going to buy one to start. And then poof, they're all gone. It's crazy how the market works like that.
What happened right after that was your card went from $950 to like $3,000 in a week. That's what you dream about with cards. You dream about buying something that's going to quadruple within 100 days or within 30 days. And when it's going and just doubling and tripling, and you're just like, how is this possible? It's a fantastic feeling.
Everybody says it, but you can't say it enough. When we're talking about Pikachu, Charizard, all these Blastoise, any character in the Pokemon game, nothing's going to happen off the court because there is no court. So like the CEO, let's say you're an investor in Tesla, right? Elon Musk goes on a podcast, says some crazy stuff, smokes some weed, and Tesla loses $1 billion, the stock tanks. I don't think that Pikachu is going to do that. I don't think, so it's really fun to be playing with that little risk. Although I do want to talk about the risk. What do you think the risk is in Pokemon?
Well, the risk is more people grading cards, the supply getting out there, and you having a card that at one point is extremely rare and then it's not. So you have to really research the loose cards on eBay, research what kind of supply has been produced. Like the unlimited cards became extremely popular, and they're dropping fast because they have 8 times the print run of first edition or Shadowless. I mean, it's a no-brainer that they can only go so high, even if it's Charizard. That said, I think the risk is all about understanding the margins, understanding where to buy at what prices, because you can get caught losing $2,000 on a card if you paid $10,000 for a card that's now all of a sudden worth $8 and it's dropping. Well, in the past, investors would consistently buy the card out to protect themselves. These guys are just buying one and hoping that their record sale will further it. You just have to be very careful in understanding how to buy. And right now is the time to buy. Prices have bottomed out, in my opinion, on certain cards and auctions because a lot of people are scared. The time in this country, the last 10 days, the last 20 days have been uncertain, and people investing in Pokemon are definitely on the same trajectory. Plus, you have the holidays coming up, and people need money. They need money to buy gifts. I mean, if you extended yourself thinking you were going to hit a grand slam on Pokemon in the last 40 days, it's not panning out because you paid a little too much, and we didn't know it was going to happen at this point. We thought it would keep going. But listen, Thanksgiving's coming, Christmas is coming, and there's going to be a lot more content coming out. So I'm not really worried. I think this is going to be short term. Some people are saying 6 months. I think this is going to be like a 3 or 4 week period.
Interesting. It can be as quick as that because all it takes, after the Logan break, everything shot up again.
Information. The information that came out in that video, most of it was good. Some of it wasn't because people didn't understand what was being said and the prices that were being shouted out and why they were being shouted out. So misinformation is a killer. Excuse me. I think overall, by now, I'm starting to buy more cards again. I stopped because the prices got too high. I think this is a good time to buy.
Doesn't it pain you though when you're buying, first edition Yellow Cheeks for $30, and now you're thinking about buying more for $5,000?
Well, I bought a Red Cheek PSA 9 Yellow Cheek Pikachu. I'm sorry, PSA 9 Red Cheek first edition Pikachu for $220 in June, and that card's like $2,000 now. It's just understanding when. I just move on to the next set. Like my big thing is Black Star promos. They came out in '99 to 2002. They're relatively cheap, and they were handed out to little kids. So, the graded population isn't going to shoot up that much more overall. I think they're safe. I think any error card is a great opportunity. And I think all holograms are just great buys. If you want to really make money, go sealed. Buy unopened packs. Buy from respected people. Because the sealed game is the best. People will continue to open packs. But the one thing that is always going to diminish is the amount of sealed packs. It's just inevitable. We're at that point. I have over 65 and I'm ecstatic owning them. Everybody I know that collects sealed is up big because it's just safe.
I'm 100% with you. And I always say this in basketball, but you're investing in the entire draft class. You're not just investing in, Charizard or Pikachu or Blastoise. You're investing in a little bit, whatever the percentage is of how 162, of the whole set, or one. How many are in the first edition base set?
102, and there's a 103rd card. Pikachu Red Cheeks is an error card, so 103. Right.
So you're investing, pretty much 1% into every single person when you look at it that way. Now I know Gary. Did you see the event last night with Steve Aoki?
I thought it was great. I think that the content they provided was fantastic. Now, when Gary opened the box, I was a little nervous because he was just like pulling them out. And I'm like, man, those are very valuable packs. I thought it was great watching them pull a Charizard. I thought it was great seeing all the holograms. It's a big charity event. They raise money for autism awareness. They raise money for brain cancer. My family, we're big proponents of raising awareness for brain cancer. I lost my father-in-law to glioblastoma. So it's very important to us to see charities, help out these causes. So anything Pokemon-wise to raise money. Leon Hart's a great account to watch for his charity events. These are great people. These are people helping. And the cards make it better. Kids love it. Parents love it. I'm generation 1. Generation 2 is out there now. This is all about, father to son, mother to daughter, people getting together and opening packs. Watching Gary and his wife have fun out there and get caked was fantastic.
I love it. I know that 25th anniversary is coming up. Does that have any impact on the overall Pokemon game? Are they going to put out a movie to celebrate? What are they going to do?
Well, I know Pokemon Snap's coming out in a short bit. They have other card sets that are being released. The 25th anniversary is going to be huge in the perspective that, they finally hit that monumental marker. And as I said before, they have over $105 billion in total revenues. In perspective, that's more than double Star Wars. That's more than Hello Kitty. Those are companies around since the 70s. The Pokemon is 1995, 96. 96, let's go with. Satoshi Tajiri is a genius. He created this whole world. And the cool thing is, now you were talking before about Pikachu not getting in trouble. I'm the one who should be quoted with Pikachu's not going to tear an ACL. Pikachu's not going to get arrested. The only key that could ever get them in trouble is like the artist or somebody doing something wrong. But these guys love drawing. These are great individuals. They're not criminals. This is all about family.
They're also so much older.
And 25 years is a significant number because all of the individuals that were 10 years old, 9 years old, playing Game Boy, playing Nintendos, playing the game, watching the show, it's a monumental mark because now it's like, wow, this is historic. This is not exactly an antique. I mean, cars are antiques after 20 years. Cards, I'd give them 40 to 50 years, but it's a monumental year. And 2021 should be a big year for the company. And remember, first edition Charizards, first edition boxes, certain items are always going to go up even in a bad time for the hobby. It's just understanding what you're investing in and how to.
Mm. Yeah, it's always, I know Gary Vee says this a lot, but when you buy, the legends, and, I think he was referring to basketball, but when you buy the legends, top 15 players of all time, they're going to drop the least compared to anything else. So I wonder if that same thing applies, in Pokemon's case to the first edition Charizard, Blastoise, uh, Venusaur, everything of that nature, all the hollows. I wonder if that same applies. If things were to one day drop, that those would, drop the smallest percentage.
Those are definitely the safest. The way I like to compare auctions for cards like PWCC is like Barrett Jackson. If X amount of if the same car ends up on the auction block, they're not going to fetch record money. If one ends up on there, it is. And with these auction houses and these auctions on eBay, a lot of it's awareness, people not seeing the auctions. But most importantly, you have to understand that if you can get a card at a solid price, like if you can get it at the current value, even if it goes down a little bit, when it comes to Charizard, there's no risk there. You're as safe as it gets. Any first edition holo, if you didn't pay like $8,000 for a 9 grade and now they're 3,000 or 4,000, if you didn't pay 8,000, you're fine. It's just understanding when you got in, and it's going to bounce right back. It's just if you're looking for the short-term sale, you're in trouble right now. You just need to be patient for a couple weeks. And long-term, I'm not selling anything. I think long-term, this is a beautiful hobby. I think that in 10 years, I'll be able to sell 25 to 50,000 at a clip, and it won't even dent my collection because I believe I'll be up another 1,000%. I'm up 400% in 3 years. 400% in 3 years.
Wow, that's so amazing.
And that includes current purchases as well.
Amazing. So I want to ask now, modern cards. Is there any play there? I have a couple buddies who are buying, 2016 XY Evolutions boxes and stuff, and they're having a blast. And I think, again, I have to say the most important part is that you're having fun. But second to that, is there any financial play in modern cards or none at all because of the print?
Well, as evidenced by people just hounding Targets and every other store right now and just wiping out supply, anything sealed is worth buying if the price is right. The way I put it is it's a domino effect. If the first editions are at the top at $450,000 a box or $400,000 a box from 1999, you can go to 2016 somewhere down there. And if you're buying the sealed boxes for a bargain, just sit on them for a couple of years because people just want to rip them open. The novel concept of opening the cards yourself is a premium price. It's like when you drive a car off the lot, it drops 25% in value. But when you open the pack, outside of pulling the best card or a top 3 card, it's going to drop a lot in value. It's just the lottery of it. I would always say buy sealed. I actually just bought recently Champions Path boxes. I got my hands on a couple. I bought them just to have them for content. I bought them because it's just fun. Maybe on Christmas I want to open one. But no matter what, if you're buying sealed Pokemon, even newer stuff, and you just put it away and forget about it, you're going to have something at some point. You're not going to lose money. That's what I'm saying. You're not going to lose any money. It's not like a football box or a basketball box from 2006 that was $120, but now you can buy them for $70. They never, because the year wasn't good. I still buy those. Like I buy off-year sports card boxes just to open them because there's no way I'm opening Pokemon. It's just too valuable. And Pokemon, as you're asking, 2016, 2017, you can buy the gem mints of the best cards, or you can buy sealed, and I would just stay away from the rest.
Interesting. I always, in basketball, I like you look at some of the off years because the thing about, certain products like a Prism basketball or something like that is, 2014, for example, is the cheapest Prism year to date. From 2012 when the product came out to now, you can get a hobby box for under $2,000, which is 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 20,000, depending on the year, not 2014. The reason was that they didn't have any huge rookies, but Joel Embiid, Giannis' second year. You can still pull your LeBrons, your Kobe's, everything like that. I just think those are interesting angles to play because the ratios are there, and it's fun. Like you said, it's really, really it's a way to get in. And the less you're spending, the more likely you're gonna make your money back. So there's that too.
The way I put it is with Pokemon, like anything else, it's just understanding your market. Now, if you got in a year ago and you bought all the unlimited Charizards you could get your hands on, you'd be a very rich man today. But like, understand that a first edition PSA 9 card was between, outside of Charizard, was like $300 for Nidoking last year at this time, and 13 or 1400 for a PSA 9 Blastoise. Blastoise is over 15,000 now. Nidoking's over 2,000 now. Those are all huge profits. Understanding where you get in and how you hit is the most important thing. Now, when I got in, I was hoping I'd double my money every 5 years. I didn't realize I was going to quadruple my money in 3 years. That wasn't right. The reason I got in. I got in because I loved it, and I felt it was extremely safe. Hey, I got lucky. That's how it is. I think I'm unlucky because I wanted to get in sooner. This is how your brain works. You think, oh, I didn't buy enough then. And people tell you the same thing. Oh, you didn't buy enough then. That's not it. Just get what you get, like it. And if you like it, someone else will like it. Outside of some anomaly player who doesn't, who didn't do much,
Who you like because, he's from your hometown.
Right.
Yeah, I see some funny collections sometimes of that.
Those are like penny stocks. Those are the ultimate penny stocks for cards.
You never know, though. I had a buddy who, I've known people who had $10, $15, $20,000 of Bobo, way before he had that huge spike and crash. People who had $40,000 TJ Warren collections. I hope they sold at the right time. But yeah, there are some random guys that will have their moment, but you got to be very well aware that it is a huge spike and crash, and the only way to make money is to undercut the market and sell for cheaper.
My favorite is, I knew a guy who had all the Tiger Woods rookies, and I mean, he had a crate of them back in the 90s, and when Tiger hit big, one investor bought him out, and the guy would buy about 100 cards at a clip, and they were very expensive, and he made enough money where he didn't need a card store anymore. And that's exactly what we're talking about here, hitting the lottery in cards. And I know Gary Vee talks about it. I know a lot of smart guys talk about it. Invest in players you believe in. For me, it's Pokemon because they don't lose. I have 0 losses in 4 years, legit, 0 losses. And since we're talking about Pokemon, I just want to tell you guys that if you go older, minter, the better. The less of the population, the better. But remember, 1995 to 1999 is golden, especially if you get first editions or if you go Japanese, no rarity. Like the Top Sun cards are very popular. Just find your margins. I wrote a Pokemon guide on 1:37 p.m., the ultimate Pokemon guide. Read up on it. It's the ultimate cheat sheet. I'm giving it. It's the best way to get 3 years of information for in one shot, and it's quick. I want people aware. It definitely helps the market, but most importantly, it ensures that you don't get hit over the head on a bad deal. Be aware of what something's worth.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's very wise. Why do we think the Pokemon Go game hasn't had any effect on cards?
Oh, it has. In 2015, I think it definitely did. I was just looking at the numbers, and it just hit $1 billion this year. The way I look at Pokemon Go is it got everyone out of the house and exercising when they came out in, I guess, 2016. Most importantly, Grandma knows who Charizard is. Everyone knows the Pokemon characters to a certain degree. It's not like it's not like the Pawn Stars episode where the guy's like, I don't know what a Charizard is from a Pokemon. Guys, you guys know what a Charizard is. And I think Pokemon Go is a great awareness tool. I think the movie with Ryan Reynolds, Detective Pikachu, is another great awareness tool. Did it really boost it? Not that much, but it creates awareness. And the most important thing is, if you can get 500 new investors a week in Pokemon, that's a huge get. Just 500 investors, 1,000 new investors. That it's just funnel money into it to create more awareness. And if you like Pokemon cards, like the $105 billion that they've made in profits, if you like Pokemon cards, they've sold over $10 billion in packs since '96. 10 billion in packs. It's easy.
And that's they just launched their e-commerce for the very first time.
So what do you think? I just want to ask you, what do you think about your cards?
I mean, I hold everything.
You're happy, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm ecstatic. It's really interesting though, seeing the ups and downs. I had an offer for, $30 $3,300 for a PSA 9 Red Cheeks first edition. You know, I said no, and then it dropped.
Yep.
You know, $1,300. You know, so that's fun, interesting. It's you know, it's the first time that I'd obviously seen that with basketball cards and baseball cards and, you know, other collectibles that I've had, you know, where they go up, they go down. As long as you're up, you know, in general, not just on that individual card, but overall,
Correct.
fine, doesn't matter. It's all fun. But that was really interesting to see. So now, you know, but when things like that happen, those are the times to get really creative and start buying more, like you said, because if you really believe in it, you know, like both of us do, you don't buy at the top, you buy when you're down a little bit. You know, obviously not all the way, because, you know, those 9s, we both bought them in the $200 to $400 range. So
Mega win.
Huge, no matter what ends up happening, you know, I mean, it's a 5x or a 10x, who the hell cares?
So when the prices really shot in September and October, I was upset because I'm 2 cards away now from finishing the PSA 9 first edition set. I'm 2 cards away. I just need a Magneton and a Gyarados. And I have 8s, I have other grades, but I need them in PSA 9. And when the prices got to where they got, where Gyarados was 6,000, 7,000, Magneton was 5,000, I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get these. And at that point, I stayed calm, because I felt, you know what? If my cards are worth this much money, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And now that they've come back down, and they're down, you know, half of what they were, I'm going to try and buy them in the next couple of weeks. Well, you know, people paid crazy money, and it's all about supply on the market. In July, 11 first edition packs hit eBay, all light packs hit eBay. Now, people weigh all their packs. Trust me, they weigh all their packs. They know if there's a hollow or not in there.
I would.
Unless it's a blister, you know, where it's in the cardboard, they check all their packs. People were paying upwards of $3,000 for a light pack. So then, you know, a supply hit eBay and they went down to 1,500 because too many hit and people just weren't buying them up. And this is the same thing with the cards. There's an over surplus right now. All it takes is 2 or 3 buyers to scoop up the market, and the awareness is right back. And that's what's going to happen by Thanksgiving. You're going to get a couple investors who are just going to scoop up everything that's a bargain, and it'll be the same play over and over again. You're going to have highs and lows because of supply on the market. When there's no supply, it gets more expensive. It's just inevitable. Same thing with your E3 Red Cheek. It's just the way it works with Pokemon. It's very monkey see, monkey do. If you see one auction dip, everyone's like, oh, it's going down. I look at it as, look at the grade the whole deal by, is the card really that clean? Is it worth the grade? Sometimes the older certs people just don't want to invest in. And who is selling it? On eBay, for example, an auction house is always going to get a premium because it's a guaranteed item. Some people don't want to deal with regular folks selling. And that's, look, on Instagram, it took me 8 months to actually make one purchase because I was so scared of getting scammed. Now I wire people. I can't believe the things I do now. And I've never been scammed.
Me neither. I can say this honestly, never in my life have I been scammed on a sports card or Pokemon card. Not one time. Now, that doesn't, this is very dangerous. This is a very dangerous subject that we're on now, because you have to be very cautious. If you can, if you don't know somebody, if you don't have, you know, friend relations, whatever, pay goods and services and probably cover the fee to take care of them. If you're paying on eBay, you don't have much to worry about if they have a good rating and their account, or, you know, their corresponding Instagram and legitimate people follow them. Like, there are lots of little things that you can do to make sure that things are legitimate. Do you have anything else to add on to that in terms of like?
Always use a credit card on PayPal. Like, if you don't know who it is and you don't trust them, which I don't trust 95% of the people I buy from at the end of the day, you know, because you got to pay them legitimately. So that, because if you wired everybody, some people are going to be like, well, I just got wired, I don't have to send this card. And also, there are people who, you know, if they sell 100 cards a month, maybe they deliberately have 2 cards go missing and everyone gets reimbursed somehow and everyone, it works. Just check who you're buying from. My big thing is you create your own network. Create a group of people who you trust and you can share with people that you buy and sell from. I don't sell. I strictly buy. So everyone loves coming to me to find people because I can locate almost any card. I'm now like a bounty hunter and it's fun. Sometimes, you know, in my free time, just trying to find a card on Instagram or you know, somewhere obscure. and it's worked a lot. This year has been awesome. I even created a journal. I had to create a journal of all my purchases, sales, and middlemanning fees because I'm lining up too many deals and I have no track of it anymore. So I had to legitimately start writing everything down.
That's amazing. I know you have a bunch of cards. Would you mind showing us some of your favorites?
Oh, okay. So let's bust out. It's like poker. You know, you bust out 4 or 5 cards in a hand. Some Raichus.
Very nice. First edition.
All first edition. The only non-first edition I brought today is a Shadowless Charizard. I messed up. I should have brought some first edition packs to show you guys. And you know, the cool thing is, if these cards tanked more, I wouldn't be as upset because I've always wanted these. So in 1999 as a kid, I couldn't get many first edition cards. I never got to open a first edition pack. Until 2018, I never saw a first edition pack in person. I'm just an average guy who likes Pokemon, and I got in when the prices were reasonable. And the most important thing was I enjoy this. My dad loves it. You know, I'm going to tell you the truth. If you're one of those people that buys cards, and I don't like having cards shipped to my house where I have my house set up. I just don't trust having cards shipped there. I have them shipped to my parents' house. For years, my mom was yelling at me, stop buying cards, stop spending all your money on cards. You got a mortgage. Yeah, I got a mortgage. One day I'm going to pay off my house with Pokemon cards. And, you know, it's going to be hard to sell some of these one day because I really am attached. And that's why I'm not worried. These things are my little grails. I'd rather have these in a high-end car. I don't need to pull up to some restaurant. I got Pokemon cards, man. And that might sound crazy to people, but guess what? In 1999, when these cards came out in 1999, everyone wanted them. It's the same feeling today. I have friends from grammar school that are hitting me up privately like, hey, man, I know you're the Pokemon wizard now. Help me. I got all these cards. You wouldn't believe how many people have come out of the woodwork. And the best part is more than anything, everyone's nice. Everyone is nice. Outside of a couple bullies out there that you just got to stay away from, everyone is nice. They want to help you. You put your money where your mouth is. You buy the cards. And I love them. Like, I know I'm holding a first edition PSA 9 Charizard right now. I never thought I'd own this card. Let me just be honest with you guys. When they were $5,000 2 years ago, I never thought I would own this card. Because of that, I bought the Shadowless 9 for $1,320. And then I bought Shadowless 8s. I bought them for like $500. Shadowless 8s.
Wow.
Like, I just started buying, and I went fearlessly. I started out with PSA 7 first edition holos. Then I went to 8s. Dude, I was buying holos, all of them under $350. The most important thing for me was I wanted them because I wanted to collect the set. I knew I couldn't afford PSA 10s, so I went with the 9s when they were reasonable. I think the PSA 9 first edition set was 50 to 60,000 when I started collecting it. Now they're 200,000 or so. You know, this is a game. This is a game. Pokemon is a game. In 1952, get this, Bill Parcells lives here. He lives right near me. I used to have breakfast next to him before COVID all the time.
Wow.
And he has a 1952 top set and the baseball cards. And he always preserved them. He's got them all. He's got the whole set.
Jesus Christ.
Get this. He educated me on the whole set about how the owner, I think his name's Cy Berger, he destroyed more than half the cards, had them dumped off a boat because they were worthless in 52. Lo and behold, the greatest baseball card outside of Honus Wagner is in the set. I actually held an authentic mantle. My parents' neighbor has one. It's really cool.
Wow.
Those mailboxes.
To add to that, the PSA 10 mantle, which there is one of, is worth more than any Wagner.
And I got to say that, you know, Parcells educated me on how those cards were destroyed. Well, Pokemon, this is a game. Kids were playing the cards, and when they went and flatlined, everyone just threw them out or gave them away to a niece or nephew who probably threw them at a wall. The most important thing is Pokemon did flatline. It had no value for a while. I mean, yeah, sure, a Gem Mint Charizard probably had some value, $2,000 or something. But the rest of the cards were garbage. Why do you think they're so valuable today? Because they had lost all their value. Even though they were the hugest nostalgic item in 1999 and 2000, they flatlined, and now they're back. And it's the same feeling. Instead of, you know, begging your parents to pay $10 for a card at the store, now you're trying to put together $10,000 to buy that card.
It's really incredible. My last question for you, and I appreciate all the advice. I know a lot of people are going to benefit from your expertise and knowledge. What is your best piece of advice for anybody watching this who wants who hasn't gotten in yet and wants to get into Pokemon cards?
That's a great question. That's probably the best question to close out with. So I'm just going to go with a couple things here. When I graduated college, I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to do. You know, I didn't know how to invest. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with my extra money. Typically, I just bought a nice car. I tricked it out. I made it really fast, and I thought that was a good investment. Those are losing investments. My advice is find the cards you like. If you don't know anything about Pokemon, go to 137pm.com and read everything I've written. The ultimate guide, the card value charts, the sneaky best Pokemon purchases. Go and start doing some research. You only need about 3 or 4 hours of research before you click that buy button on eBay or wherever you're going to buy. If you don't have a lot of money, start going to garage sales, start looking up on all the secondhand sites and try to find cards. Maybe you can just find the diamond in the rough. You never know. I bought a binder for $200 this year, and this is the perfect example for everybody. It could be worth over $40,000. I've got some very rare cards in that binder I sent to PSA, and I'm extremely excited. There was a Charizard in there, Blastoise, a first edition Typhlosion. Like, there was some crazy. And guess what? All the cards were pristine. They were all pristine. I couldn't make this up. The pictures were awful. The cards in person were better than I could have imagined. And the guy took $200. If you're looking to get in, go to the Black Star promos. Find the Gem Mints and the PSA 9s under $100. If you're looking for cheaper purchases, maybe try to find some cards that are flatlining right now. Shadowless Pokemon cards are the best value purchase today. You can go buy Gem Mint Shadowless cards under $200 a pop, and that could be a $1,000 card in 3 or 4 months. I think Shadowless is the ultimate rarity purchase because they made the same print run as first edition, and the only difference between the two cards is the first editions have the first edition stamp. The Shadowless doesn't have it. So when you look at, the Shadowless, there's no first edition stamp. When you look at the first edition, there's a first edition stamp. And that's the only difference between these cards. And this one is like 50,000, and this one is like 15,000. And it's the same card minus a stamp.
Another sneaky move that I've seen, and I've seen a lot of people do well with this, in your local area on Facebook Marketplace, you can find people who have their own collections. Obviously, given the pandemic and everything, be very respectful of everybody, but reach out to people, see if they're, getting rid of that collection. If it's listed there, obviously they're trying to do something with it. And I think that's where a lot of steals can always and forever be made and found.
Yeah, eBay is where you're probably going to pay modern market value. Maybe you get a couple steals here and there. We've all had them if we've invested for a while. Definitely local. Go local. Try to see what you can score. People don't know the difference between Shadowless and Unlimited. Educate yourself. Give yourself the advantage. Education is the key to success in this life. I have a lot of people that hit me up looking for the answers, and I just send them the guides because I think, you know what? You got all these questions? I'm going to give you the perfect way for you to get all your answers in one place so you don't have to wait on me. And, I'm a busy guy too. I try to help people. I want to be nice to everybody. And the key is educate yourself. Check out all the content. Watch what SM Pratt has said on YouTube. His videos are golden. PSA thinks he is the god, and they quote him left and right, and he's earned it. He's up there with Gary from Pawn Stars. And understand that the Pokemon collectors are a lot of just normal people who got into something early and understood it, or they couldn't afford the cards as a kid like Logic, and now they can afford them. The whole key is it's fun, it's passionate, and like a basketball fan watching LeBron dunk, when you get to hold that Pikachu card, man, it's a different feeling. When I hold this first edition Charizard here, it's like any other slab, but it's not. I mean, I'm holding more than I put down on my house. And it's humbling. Like, I always wanted this card as a kid. I never could have it. And that's my point. Just work hard on something, set your goals, and one day at a time, you can accomplish anything. If I can get this card, you can get anything.
100,000%. Eric, Pokemonster 89, I appreciate you, brother. Always a pleasure and a blast. My man, thank you.
Buster, thank you for having me on your show. I have to tell you that I love your content. I've been paying attention now since we started talking in June, July, and man, keep it up. Don't stop. And 10 years from now, we never know where you could be, man. You could be broadcasting NBA Finals games.
I appreciate you, brother. All right, everybody. We will see you on the next one. Peace out.
Have a good one.